Hey, friends of Two Crones with a Mic. We're back for another episode. So, hopefully, you're having a good week so far. And today, Indira and I, we would like to talk about our visit to Mound Cahokia that we took last weekend. And actually, it wasn't just the only place we visited while we were out. Indira was kind enough to invite me to go to a concert, Hootie and the Blowfish. So we made a whole day of it, which was really, really good, guys. So it was a really nice experience.
We had a whole adventure.
Whole adventure. So yeah, it's been a little rough too though with the weather, but we'll talk about that, so we'll tell you
Yeah.
all about it. We even took a video. So I'm the one that's supposed to edit and clip it and all that, and I haven't done it yet, but I promise you I'll get it done and hopefully I'll be able to get it at the end of this video or the end of this episode so you'll see it. And yeah, it'll be something, at least something.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me open with a real quick like grounding
Yes.
meditation and then we can tell them all of the adventures we had, all of the laughter, all of
Mm-hmm.
the rain, all of all of
Yes.
it. So invite everyone if it's safe for you to do so, lower or close your eyes. If not, just join us in this moment. Affirm that you are with us in heart, mind, and soul. We are one. So, as we expand our podcast to involve opening the Akashic records of various places, we open up that energy of expansion with everyone who listens, with everyone who is going to listen, that your energy expands right here with us. And that as you join us in the podcasts, you feel like you're one with us, that our words are your words, our stories are your stories, our adventures are your adventures. And we hold on to that aspect of oneness, knowing that we are all part of the same energy, the same divine energy of creation, expressing exactly as that divinity wants to express in us, as us, and through us. A nice, deep cleansing breath as we settle firmly into our bodies. And we enjoy the story of adventures and explorations today. And so it is.
It is. Amen. Yeah, adventure it was for sure. It was a lot of fun. So I'm glad I went. Or I'm glad we went and made a day of it.
A whole day into the next day, actually.
Yeah, we left what at 8 in the morning and got back like Sunday morning at 4 a.m. And but it was a lot of fun. So I feel like Spirit has been calling me, and eventually, ultimately, also Indira because I'll take her wherever I go, and
Thank you.
so
Wherever I go.
what so Spirit has been kind of calling me to go to spiritual places and open up the Akashic records, and so that's what I've been trying to do. And so Mount Cahokia was our first destination. um we went there because, first of all, if it's an short driving distance, it was like a 4-hour drive, maybe it wasn't too far. And it was our first adventure, our first stop, and we tried it out and see how it works. And it was really, really good, guys. It was so spiritual, and the energy when you drive up and into the parking lot, you get out and you have to walk a little ways to get to the stairs. Oh my God, the stairs! And we need to talk about it. But
So
you
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 talk
can
about the drive there.
feel, yeah, you can feel the energy
Mhm.
of those people that live there, and it's just really, it gave me goosebumps,
I
and
agree.
it was really, really good. And you said something about you can hear them. You can hear the buzzing or the vibration or something,
Yeah,
right? When
with
we walked up there.
harmonics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to start first with we were almost there. We started seeing signs. And so we were about 3.5 hours into our drive, and we had stopped for pizza. We went to Mod Pizza. Shout out to Mod, love Mod Pizza.
Good pizza.
It was, yeah, very good pizza. And it's Pride Month, and so we had like we shared a Pride cake, the no name cake that's there for Pride, and so we were pretty close when we stopped, outside of St.
Yeah.
Louis.
Hmm.
But we round this corner because we keep seeing signs for Cahokia Mounds, right? We keep seeing signs for around this
Yeah.
corner. And I am not even kidding when I tell you there's like a whole ass mountain right there in front of us. And I'm like, is that what we have to climb?
Yeah.
I am not prepared to climb that today. We were in sundresses and flip-flops. We
She
were.
had a she had a panic attack, and the thing is, you couldn't
And
see
I
the
was
mountain from far away. So we kind of come
like
around a
round the
curve
corner.
driving, and all of a sudden there is like this humongous wall, and she just stopped breathing. And I mean, she had a panic attack. It was a
And I
huge
laughed
mountain,
too. I
and she
laughed
thought she
so much
had to
with her.
climb that, and it,
Like
it
a
we
like a
laughed our butts off.
oh, we
But
did. I said
yeah,
I am not prepared to climb that today.
yeah,
I because we had looked online and they're like, oh, it's easy. And so we're like, we're gonna make a day of it. We're gonna go to the concert later. So I did bring boots, but not hiking boots.
winter boots with fur in it,
Okay.
and it was
They're
hot
Uggs. They're
as.
Uggs. They're not winter boots. They're we have so it was so funny. But I decided, once I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna have to put my Uggs on, right?
Hmm.
But then when we actually got to the mound, it's not that bad. It's about what, a quarter of a mile walk from the parking lot.
Yeah, it's not that bad, and it's
Yeah,
flat.
and it's flat. And then it's just these stairs. And I did not count the stairs, but I'm going to guess there's 100,
Probably.
100 stairs going up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I could start to hear and feel the harmonics of the space. And then we get to the top, and this gentleman, there's this big rain cloud, right? There's this gentleman
Mhm.
up there with us, and he's like, "Do you think that rain cloud is moving towards us or away from us?" I'm like, "Oh, it's going away from us, absolutely." And, and within like 5 minutes, it starts to pour down
That
rain on
was a
us.
lie.
I'm like, "There's no way Spirit would bring us all the way out here to get rained on. That is not a thing."
Mm-mm.
And sure does. So you and I are sitting in the sacred space part. Is actually
Mhm.
titled "Sacred Space." Is like a back
Mhm.
corner.
Right.
And you guys can see it on the video, and it starts to pour on us. And I'm like, what do we do?
Yep.
Do we just, it just made more sense to stay up there and get rained on
Yeah.
because it was a fairly small cloud. It was passing over. And by the time we got back down to the car, it would
Mhm.
stop raining and we were going to have to do that all over again, like
So
climb
we
that
just
again.
we just took it. We just sat there and just took it like the champions that we are.
We wore sun hats. So the sun hats took the brunt of it on the top
Mhm.
of our head. Our dresses were, I was wringing mine out. Like
Mhm.
I was like full on, you can see it in the video, wringing it out. And it was like tiny gravel and sand and dirt. So it's all up in my shoes, like I like it was ridiculous. Like trying to get that stuff off of me because it's like that gray clay. Oh my goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was worth it.
it was. And I after we opened the Akashic Records, which
Mhm.
it's actually pretty short.
Yeah.
And why is it short?
Because we got so much profound information in a short amount of time.
We did. Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like they went with us. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
who you were talking to. I saw 7 guardians, 7
Yeah, you said
beings.
that. Mhm.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, now that you've been here, we're going with you and you can open these records at any time. I was
Yes.
like, okay, I don't have to go back. We went to Cahokia once and we get the guardians forever.
Yeah.
As long as we
But it
stay within
wasn't
their
just
realm.
about opening the Akashic records and get the information. It was about you too. So
It
you had a really profound, how do I say that? What experience
yes.
insight
Yes.
something download. So
So
yeah.
let me find, yeah. So let me find really quickly. This won't take but a second. There's a somebody I follow on Instagram. I believe she's on TikTok too. I just follow her on Instagram. And she is let me find her. Uh it's Keisha the Mystic. I got a hair on my mic. There we go. Keisha the Mystic. And I follow her, love her two pieces. I follow her on Instagram. I don't have TikTok yet. I will eventually get there, but I'm gonna be really honest. I'm digging my heels in right now. She is a channeler and an alchemist, and I love her. And so she was basically giving this channeled message, and it really resonated, but I couldn't figure out why. Like, I knew I needed to stay there and listen to it. And
Mhm.
what she was talking about was, it was an ancestral message about, and if you guys are on Instagram or TikTok, Keisha, Keisha, the Mystic, I'm going to shout her out. And she doesn't know me from Eve, but I think she's amazing. She's very, very talented. But anyway, she starts talking about something about your sweet tooth being tied to your prosperity consciousness. And I'm like, ooh, this feels like it's for me, and I can't figure out why. So I would watch it, but I would get to this point where all of a sudden it just wasn't, I couldn't pay attention
Yeah.
anymore. And so I had my husband listen to it on the phone with me, and he kind of shut down at the same place I did. And he's like, I don't know, baby. He's like, I'm trying, but I'm not there with you, you know? And he's like, I can't get it past where you are either. And so I said to Spirit, like, I understand that this is for me, but I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. And the reason that I thought about it for me is because after my dad died, my mother began. So my dad was, he was the breadwinner. He brought the money home. He was the only reason that they could survive. He had no retirement. They'd been living on his retirement, and they lived on a higher amount because they always thought that they would die together. And then my mother outlived my father by 9 years.
Hmm.
And so she only got like her social security is all she got. And
Wow.
it's like we had a house in the family that she could live in fairly rent free. So she really just had to take care of herself. And but my mother, right after my dad died, started eating like 15 cookies and drinking a bottle of Pepsi, like a 20-ounce bottle of Pepsi for breakfast every day. And I
Wow.
remember saying to her, "Mom, what do you do?" Like, I understand sweet teeth, but that's like just a whole mouth full
Mhm.
sweet tooth.
Mhm.
And she's like, "It's just the only thing I can get to, yeah, I can take to make my medicine stay down. Everything else makes me nauseous. If I try to eat like regular breakfast food, it makes me nauseous."
Hmm. Wow.
And she's like, "This is what I do." And I just remember thinking, I think somehow this has to do with like my mom, my family, something like that. So we get out there, we finish the Akashic records, and immediately I see Gerard, which is the ET that speaks through me
Mhm.
ever since we met Christy Peterson. Thank you,
Yeah.
Christy, for opening that door. It's a weird thing, and I'm not ready to release all that yet, but I have a feeling that that's going to be a thing someday. So
I'm
anyway,
sure.
um, foreshadowing before we're actually for sure. So anyway, he said, "Yes, it is for you." And he said, "You come from an agrarian background," meaning that my family they were all farmers. And a fact of farming is that um, when they are flush, when they have money, when the crops have been plentiful, they will buy sugar and they will make a cake, or they will buy sweet treats for the kids, like peppermint sticks, stuff like that. And but when the crops are not good, when things are a struggle, sugar was the first thing to go. So
Hmm.
then they started getting this mental concept that became actually a part of like our, almost like our DNA, like it became a part of our cellular
Yeah.
structure, that you are abundant when you have sugar, when you have something sweet to eat.
Mhm.
And so then it developed from that into um, I'm not just abundant, but I am financially secure when
Oh,
I have sugar. And so then it would be my mom, basically what she was trying to do, she was trying to eat herself into abundance, but it was all subconscious. Like she had no idea
yeah.
that's
Yes.
what she was doing.
Wow.
And it's interesting because like as I reflect on like the Queen of England, not the last queen, it was Queen Elizabeth the First.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that they said about her is that she had really, really bad halitosis because she had a really diseased liver because of all the sugar that she ate.
Wow, I didn't know
And
that.
if we live in a culture where sugar is that subconscious indicator, like sweets,
Mm-hmm.
that subconscious indicator that we are somehow secure. She was very insecure in her role as queen for quite some
Oh,
time. Um, then that just it just made sense, and that all really made sense to me. And they said and the reason you're here at Cahokia, they said, is because the native people understood, because this was all native people. We
mm-hmm.
actually saw
Yes.
native
Yeah.
people they were having like a big swap meet when we were like driving through the town. So there were a lot of native people there. Um, but they have a very keen understanding of balance in nature. So what feels like a drought in agrarian times, the natives would say, "Oh, okay, well let's work with nature to make sure that we are fed." So we either become nomadic, or we have certain crops that we know that we plant because we are in a drought. And unfortunately, white men didn't have, still don't a lot of times, but especially back then, didn't have an understanding of that connection to nature that the natives had. and
Yeah.
and that's not a judgment against white men. That's just, it's factual that they viewed the native people as simple and ignorant because they had a deep relationship with the earth they lived on. And so they were easily taken advantage of. And so they were showing me that they just figured out how to do that. And then they said, and when there's a drought somewhere, there's a flood somewhere else. And that's the balance of earth. And they know that it's going to be rebalanced soon. So
Yeah.
they just hold out. And that's when you looked at me and you said, "So this is your fault we got rained on."
That's exactly how I felt. I was just there to get soaked. So thanks.
I was like, "Sorry, you caught that, did you?"
She thought I wouldn't get in, but I did. It took me like 5 seconds, by the
You
way.
did it. It was so funny. You're like, "So it's your fault I got rained on today?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah." Um, but the second time we got rained on wasn't my fault. Honestly.
Are you
But
sure?
yeah,
Because I wasn't there, so I can't really judge.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really funny is later I was listening to another reader, and forgive me, it'll come to me because I always want to shout out readers that I listen to. Actually, I think, yeah, I don't want to be wrong on it. I'm fairly certain I know who it is though. But she was saying something like, water is love, rain is love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent it to you, and I was like, they loved us so much they almost drowned us.
Yep.
Because that was the first rain. So yeah, I got a huge message, and I asked, what does that mean for me? And they said, always recognize that you're in the flow. Even if it looks like a drought to you, it is, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's raining somewhere else. It's flooding
Correct.
somewhere else. So always recognize that you're in the flow, and just take deep breaths and know that it's going to
Mm-hmm.
pass. You're not going
Mm-hmm.
to starve to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We talked about this before in other episodes, not in the same way, but we've talked about being stuck, and it's just maybe just a break for you to kind of just take a deep breath and then wait for the next thing to come. So yeah, it's just the same metaphor.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, if you feel stuck or if you feel like you're in a drought, just know it'll pass because flood is coming and the rain is coming again.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
then
yeah.
after you decide, we had 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you decided we needed to go do something, and I think it was the best thing ever. You
No,
took us to Central Station in
in St.
downtown St.
Louis.
Louis. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I am a chicken little and would not get on that giant Ferris wheel with you.
I
Uh,
tried, but
Twice,
she wouldn't.
aggressively. It's the most
Oh, is
aggressive I've
that
ever
so?
seen you. So
It it
But
was
we
completely closed in. Every wagon was just completely enclosed. So,
horrified
it
of
would have
height.
been so much fun.
Yeah. So we
But she
went there.
wouldn't.
You got some ice cream. I got some ice cream.
Hmm.
And we
And
watched the koi fish and the fire show.
yeah, it was fun. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
And then after we went to the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater in St. Louis, we saw Edwin McCain, whose name I had never heard that I ever remembered, but I knew his music.
Hmm.
He had like 3 hits. And then we heard or Collective Soul, who I am now the biggest fan of.
That
I
was good. I've never heard of them before, but the songs were really good.
Their
Really good.
guitarist is completely underrated. And I promised Bettina before we
She
started
did.
recording, I would not nerd out on the musicality. Most underrated guitarist ever, and most underrated frontman ever. Collective Soul should have been way bigger than they were. Changed my mind. 'Cause they were phenomenal. And then we saw Hootie and the Blowfish. But 20 minutes before Edwin McCain came out, it poured on us. And I mean poured this time. It was heavy rain at times. It
Mhm.
blew, and we are at an outdoor venue. There
Yes,
is
we were
no
sitting
place to run to.
outside.
Yeah, there's no place to run to.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were sitting down in our rented lawn chairs, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a water and a pretzel. And I go to that stand. Everything was fine. I go to the stand and pay for my pretzel. I turn around, and there was the rain, and
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 that
I'm
was
like,
not my
poor
fault.
Indira is sitting up there on the hill. I'm like, should I wait it out and stay here? But I'm
You
like,
should
no,
have.
I can't leave her like that. This is like, we're both here together. We'll just stick it out together. So I
You're a good
waited through the
friend.
rain, um, went to our lawn chair, sat down, and just took it like the champion that we were again. It was just pouring on us. My pretzel was all soaked, and yeah,
There was
it
a guy in
was,
front of us that was eating nachos, and he was not like you and I had. We had a hats on. We had big brimmed hats on,
yeah.
and I could keep my phone on my chest. You did too, because our
Hmm.
chest stayed dry because of these big brimmed hats. This
Yeah.
guy was eating rained on nachos.
Hmm.
Like they were like, I know your pretzel was wet. He was also, and
It
his
was
was
soaked.
nothing. He has nothing to protect his nachos from, and that was about 15, 20 minutes. That rain
Yeah.
was long,
It was
extensive.
long. It was long.
And I had
So
just gotten
yeah,
dried out. I think you had just gotten dried out.
yeah,
And then we were soaked. And then bless your heart, it got cold.
yeah. Well,
And
it got later. So the
yeah.
sun went
So,
down, and it's just got a little dark and chilly. Not really freezing cold, but chilly. But when you're wet,
it's
that was
worse.
not comfortable. It
Yeah.
wasn't
So you
comfortable.
got a couple Mexican blankets, which I appreciate. And we were able to stay warm. And then so this part is really funny to me. So we were in line to leave, and the line wasn't moving anywhere. And I'm like begging you, please get in the other line. It seems to be moving. And as soon as we moved to that line, it stopped moving too. And we are just both grumpy. We are postmenopausal women who are just sick of this shit, right? We're just
Mm-hmm.
sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And how this kid knew, but some kiddo comes up to us, knocks
Yep.
on our windows, like he sensed the
The
impending doom,
desperation.
the desperation and the
He probably
impending.
saw it on my face.
And he knocks on the door, and he's like, if you want out of here faster, go, turn around and go this way. And I was like, he sensed it. He could smell
He,
the fear and the desperation and the impending doom we were about to rain upon everyone if we did not move faster. And
it was a lot. I mean,
it's
there
a
were like
lot.
what 2,000, a couple of thousand people there, and so to get out of the
Easily.
parking lot was just like a mess.
I think there were easily 5,000. I don't know how many were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of people because all the seats were taken and the lawn was
Mm-hmm.
packed. It was
Mm-hmm.
packed.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I promise not to nerd out, but I will say this: Hootie and the Blowfish should have been way bigger.
They were really good.
They
Yes.
were. I would equate them to the Eagles, and I don't say that lightly, but I say that in their talent,
Mm-hmm.
I equate them to the Eagles because every member of the band can sing as well as a lead singer, and they
Mm-hmm.
would sing entire choruses, entire line, just like the Eagles would do. Like I just think of Seven Bridges Road by the Eagles. They did stuff like that. They all played multiple instruments. They all had that kind of voice. And I think it's because in the 70s, we didn't pigeonhole people into certain musical genres.
Mm-hmm.
Just whatever you did, we were happy to hear it, you know? And now people are like, oh, well, that's not rock enough for us. You know, that's a little too
Mm-hmm.
country, or that's a little too, how else would it be? Trying to think of what it's called. Anyway, bluegrass. It's a little too bluegrass, or that's got a little gospel to it. We don't want to hear that. You know, I mean, things that were number one hits in the 70s would never be number one hits now. We had instrumental stuff back in the 70s that hit
Mm-hmm.
number one because we liked music. And even now with, you know, like Beyonce crossing over, people threw the biggest frickin' fit. Stay in your lane. And I'm like, that's our problem.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity doesn't have a lane.
Right.
Talent
That's a
doesn't
good one. Yes.
Yeah, doesn't have a lane.
Well
And
said.
they are thank you. I'm still not nerding out on the musicality of all of it, but like seriously, Hootie should have been way bigger than, and I know that they were big, but
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they played that never made it to the radio,
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was
All
good.
their band members, phenomenal. It's not Darius Rucker. That is a whole ass band.
And he's so good looking, by the way. You know,
But
if you don't
Tina might have
know,
got a new crush.
just so you know, just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, and he does have great stage presence. He's right up there with
He
the
does.
lead
Yeah,
singer of
that's very
Soul.
true.
He
Very
was
true.
dancing, and he has great stage presence. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
denying that he doesn't have a lead singer voice, but his other band members are just as talented. And we tend to
Mm-hmm.
believe it's just the lead singer, and we
Mm-hmm.
tend to ignore the other band members. Oh, Hootie, if you're listening, your band is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You guys are amazing.
It
Wouldn't
was
that
a
be
good
something?
show. Yes.
It was a great show. Yeah.
What were you going to say? Wouldn't it be something?
Wouldn't it be something if they were listening? Oh, they were so good. So yeah, then we drove home. You dropped me off at 3:15.
Mm-hmm.
And then
AM, by the way.
AM, because we're Gen Xers and we don't need hotel rooms.
No,
We just
don't.
drive. We just drive.
We just go home.
Which leads us to our next podcast, which we're going to record in a little bit, about how we really shouldn't do that anymore because it's not good on our bodies. But we had a
It's
blast.
sad, but it's real.
Mhm, mhm.
It is what it is.
And we had a blast. We had so
It was a
much
good
fun.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
And we were
But
done. By
yes,
3:15, we were
yes.
spent.
We were done. Yes.
So
But
hope
yeah.
you guys enjoy hear what you hear us open with the Akashic Records. Know that this isn't done. We will continue to open those records. We'll continue to work with those beings that we worked with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just stay tuned and well, I hope it's good and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. It's a little short, but that's okay because we got what we needed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention that. This was what I
Mhm.
thought was super cool. You were tapping into the energy of that space and the beings there.
Mm-hmm.
I was tapping into their connection to the galactic brotherhood, or their connection to
Mm-hmm.
like intergalactic species. It was so fascinating how we were tapping into their Akashic records, but it was different forms of the records.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
Different aspects. Yes.
different aspects. Yeah. So when y'all listen, you'll get to hear that.
Good. Awesome. All right.
Thanks,
Well,
everybody.
we'll see you next time.
Stay tuned for our Friday message. It'll be up on Friday.
Sounds good.
Hey everybody, we're here at where?
Cahokia.
Cahokia
Mounds. Yep.
So you can see it from the parking lot. We made it. It's really warm. So
It's really warm.
warmer than we thought,
And
but
it's muggy.
and it's muggy, but we will tough it out.
Yep.
And so there it is from far away, and we will, keep you updated. So here we go. Thumbs up. All right.
Here's the trail map. Ooh, it's been raining. Stop.
Oh, they got a map. You want to grab the trip there first and get back?
Okay. All right. Here's the map.
Okay, we're coming up some really long stairs. Go all the way up this mountain.
Here we are.
But we'll make it. We'll make it. Okay, we're halfway up there. My legs are burning. Indira's coming. She's coming. We'll make it. But it's beautiful. We can feel the energy. Beautiful historic site. Whew. We can do it. We can do it. This is so steep, guys. Feel the burn. So we're stopping at this sign where it says sacred space. And once again, we're feeling the energy. Okay, everybody. When we got up here, it was sunny and warm. And as soon as we sit down, there's a rainstorm coming through, and Indira literally is wringing out her dress because we just wouldn't leave.
We refuse to leave.
We're here
We're doing it.
to the bitter end.
We are.
We're soaking wet, but oh well, it's part of the adventure.
It is. It's always an adventure with us. Don't you want to come with us?
Yeah, next time we'll do a group travel.
And it's still sprinkling a little
Yeah,
bit. Like it's
a tiny
not
bit.
done yet. But if you look at the water, you can see it is still sprinkling. Sopping wet over here.
Yeah, so it's really dark and rainy over
Out
here.
there. That's what just passed over us.
Yep, and see sunshine on the other side. So we'll just
Should be dry by the time we get to the bottom of the hill.
wait it out. Ready to start.
Okay, let's go. And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth, as it's revealed for the highest good and the highest good for everyone connected to us. Holy Spirit, protect me. Help me to know the Cahokia Mound in the way you will actually express my words to see the Mound and the mind and the eyes of this. And enable me to share the wisdom and knowledge that masters, teachers, loved ones of God and God for our identity.
So I'm being told to get the camera.
Yeah, it's a different, I'm getting resonance. Like I can feel them
Yeah,
still living just in another harmonic resonance, which is the purpose of the mounds and pyramids, is to help us to experience that harmonic resonance. And what I'm seeing is, because I kept hearing sacred, so we are in a sacred site right now. Is what they said. Like there's like a sign that says, sacred ceremonial site or something, and not just the mound, but exactly where we're sitting. And they are talking about reigniting the sacredness of life through the elements, through the ceremony. You used the word organic, like an organic material, like so the
biological.
Yeah,
I
so
guess.
the elements, metal, water, wood, fire, earth, and and like sorry, they're like, and releasing the elements that we have created that are polluting our world, like plastic, things that are not of the 5 elements. It's very interesting. They're talking about like reigniting our knowingness, our connection to the earth. I guess so that will help us move through those resonances. Like we have the ability to move through those various kind of like a reality a little bit, like what you said, and by
different dimension, I guess
and the way that we do that is by releasing ourselves from anything that is not of that organic element, that organic structure that is of the earth. Everything that we need, the earth has. We have complicated our lives and polluted our bodies. And it is time to return to the organic elements. That feeds right off of yours.
Yeah, it does. I'm also hearing that they vanished, or well, what we call vanished, a long time ago, hundreds of years, but they taught their descendants all about what happened. So of course it's not the original tribes and people that now live in this place in a different reality, but it's their descendants, and they know exactly what happened and where they're at, and they can literally look at us and see us in this dimension, and they have a lot more knowledge than we do, because they just know, they're aware, and they know what happened, and they know how they got there, and they live literally happily ever after. And so it's us who are left here trying to make things work. It's time to reconnect. And the sun is out. It's warming up.
Starting to dry a little bit.
We're drying up.
I'm checking to see if there's anything else that I need to know. So they're showing me that if we want to begin to experience that movement through different resonances, through different, I guess, dimensions or realities, is to do it through sound. And I'm seeing in particular like bowls, like crystal bowls. I'm seeing flutes, like Native American flutes. It's almost as if we would take ourselves into in shamanism, we move through the different levels, the lower world, the middle world, the upper world, and we do that through drumming. In this case, they're talking about crystals and flutes, and moving into a state of meditation to then bring about it's almost like a quantum jump, if you will. Like that's kind of what I'm seeing, that if your reality isn't what you want it to be, practice that harmonic resonance and move the reality that you want into your dimension. Not you move into it, it moves into you. You're the static being. The dimensions are what move. That's interesting.
That's very interesting. It's almost like you're surrendering and you're letting it happen. That's very
Instead of
interesting.
fighting it.
Instead of
complaining
fighting
about
it, yes. Uh-huh.
And I feel like I'm complete over here.
Okay, so Indira is complete. Let's see if I have anything else coming through. They want us to know that this was a healing place. People came here to heal or to be healed. And it's kind of interesting that the whole last week or 10 days, it's all about healing. Even in our podcast, in our Friday message, and even today, it's about healing. This was a place where people came to heal. So I feel a healing energy. So they invite everybody who needs healing or spiritual healing. If you can visit and spend some time in meditation and let all the descendants of the Cahokia people help you heal and reconnect. So they want you to know that.
And you can invite them into your dimension, into your reality. Yeah, through the music.
Yeah. Vibration and sound, and yes. Oh, I think we've got enough for today.
We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. And as I move into the records, I see a sacred circle with seven beings in it. And they are being told the guardians of the circle. And they have been waiting for a long time for someone to come and speak, allow them to speak through that person. So we are they. We are the ones that they are going to be speaking through.
So I kind of had the same impression that they wanted someone, and maybe today it's us, maybe in the future it's more of us, but I also heard that they wanted to tell the truth through somebody who can connect to them spiritually and not just digging out artifacts and making assumptions, or maybe what they thought would happen, but just hear through or tell the story through their eyes.
I heard the same thing. I heard to tell the truth. We want to tell the truth because archaeologists, while they serve a very good purpose for science and for history, the story is what is missing. And I'm being told that that they built these mounds. These were built through, extraterrestrial. I can't even say the word. Engineering, but through human effort, human labor is what created them. And each item, whether it is stone or particular type of, whether it's wood or stone or dirt or whatever, is there for a harmonic resonance. So they could communicate with those not of this earth, of this planet. And they have always viewed those of not of this planet, ETs as we would call them, as guardians, as teachers, as brothers. They're showing me like a brotherhood, that it was only in as the ignorance of man spread did we lose that brotherhood.
So I kind of hear something similar, and I think the brotherhood they're talking about is like the connection between the tribes or the families throughout the tribes, and they had something that we lost in today's world and today's society, and that is connection and love for each other, for another, and to help each other out and to get each other through difficult times. It is something we lost, and that's definitely coming through, to pick that up again and see the other human being as your brother, and to make a connection and to heal each other, to help each other.
It's interesting. I think you're getting the earthly part, and I'm getting like
Yeah.
the galaxy or the universal
Yeah,
part, because
yeah.
the brotherhood I see is with beings from other planets as
Mhm.
well. That for some reason we became extremely arrogant in believing that we were all there was. And at one time, the brotherhood of the tribes had a relationship with the brotherhood of other planets, and they created this universal brotherhood. The sun is coming out. I'm going to be dry soon. And what I'm hearing is this great reawakening that began in 2012, about 12 years ago, that was predicted in the Mayan and the Aztec, their writings. This is part of that great reawakening of recognizing that there really is kind of an intergalactic or interuniversal brotherhood. And the first thing that I see that we will be doing is beginning the process of welcoming the ETs to the planet, and which we've already actually done. The government indicated they work with them.
Correct.
And then at some point in many, many years, I'm getting like 300 to 500 years, they will begin the process of welcoming us to other planets. Sorry, Bettina, I know you wanted off this planet.
It's not going to
in this
happen.
lifetime.
Not in this lifetime.
I mean, she
for
said
me.
we're going to live a really long time, but I
Yeah.
don't think you want to do 300 more years.
I'm going to look like the crypt keeper.
So what else are you getting from them?
Another thing I'm getting is really that I don't know the exact history. I didn't look it up. I don't know if you did or not, but really what I'm getting is that even with other sites around this world, it looks like people just got up and left and vanished, and nobody knows why or where they went, and or what prompted them to leave so suddenly. So really what I'm getting is they didn't leave, they just transcended into another reality. So they're still exactly right here, it's just a different reality. And when they find artifacts like plates and spoons and things that they just still had on the table, it's because they couldn't take anything with them that's not organic. So they just literally raised their vibration so high that they were able to move into a different reality, but they're still right here. All the descendants are still right here in the same place. It's just a different reality.